Welcome back to your chemistry class, children. Today we are going to discuss about same chapter 1, that is matter in our surroundings. See what we have discussed in our previous class, that is we have discussed about what is matter and what is diffusion and what are the characteristics of matter. All those things we have discussed in our previous class, isn't it? What are the characteristics we have discussed? Particles of matter is made up of very small, and particles of matter have space between them. Then particles of matter constantly moving. Then particles of matter attract each other. So these characteristics we have discussed in our previous class, and then we have discussed about the physical states of matter, that is solids, liquids as well as gases. And also we have discussed about the properties of solids, liquids as well as gases. So the difference between the difference in properties between solids, liquids and gases also we have discussed in our previous class, about density, diffusion, arrangement of particles. All those things we have discussed in our previous class. Today we are going to discuss about change in states of matter. What we are going to discuss today, that is change in states of matter. What we are going to discuss today, change in states of matter. So what are the states of matter? Already we have discussed, that is three states of matter we have discussed, that is solids, liquids and gases. Now we are going to discuss about change in states of matter. See, do you know how the change in states of matter takes place? For example, we will take it as in water. Okay, so water can exist in three states of matter also, isn't it? That is water exists in that is solid form of water is what is that? It is ice. What's the solid form of matter? That is ice. So what's the liquid form of matter? It is water. And what is the gaseous forms of? What is the gaseous forms? Gases as water, vapor. For example, if you will take water, it can exist in three states also. In solid state as ice, and liquid states, you know very well, it is water, and gaseous states we will get in the form of water, vapor. So see, it is one example of three states of matter, that is water. It can exist in both three states, solids, liquid as well as gases, isn't it? So now we are going to discuss about how one state of matter can change in the form of another state of matter. During this change in state of matter, what happens inside the matter? And during this change in state, one state of matter will change into another state of matter. During this change, what about the particles of matter? All those things we are going to discuss now. Okay, listen carefully. See here, in our previous class we have discussed about, that is change in states of matter with the help of temperature. So what's the SI unit of temperature we have discussed? That is, you know very well, it is Kelvin. What's the SI unit of temperature we have discussed? It is Kelvin. What's the normal unit of temperature we have discussed? It is degree Celsius. So SI unit of temperature is Kelvin and the normal unit of temperature is degree Celsius. So we have discussed about how one that is Kelvin temperature, Kelvin scale is converted into Celsius scale, and Celsius scale is converted into Kelvin scale. These changes also we have discussed already. How will you convert Kelvin scale to Celsius scale and Celsius scale to Kelvin scale? If we need to convert the temperature in the form of Kelvin scale to Celsius scale, how will you convert? You have to subtract the given value with 273, isn't it? What is 273? That is the melting point of ice in the form of Kelvin is 273. In degree Celsius it is 0 degree Celsius, you know very well. So how will you convert Celsius to Kelvin? How will you convert Celsius to Kelvin? You have to add given temperature with 273. So while converting Kelvin to Celsius, we need to subtract with 273, and while converting Celsius to Kelvin, you need to add with that given 73. So this is the conversion of matter. See, with the help of temperature, now we can change one state of matter into another state of matter. Is it possible? Yes. See, for example, here we have discussed ice, it is solid, and then this ice converted to water, that is liquid, and same this, it is converted to, that is water vapor. This is converted to water vapor. This water vapor is a gaseous state of matter. So how will you convert this solid form of matter into liquid form of matter, that is ice into water? By heating or cooling, you know very well, by applying heat. With the help of temperature, by increasing temperature, we can change a state of matter, that is solid state to liquid state, that is ice into water. So what is the name of this process is called? Do you know that? See, ice, it is in solid state. Now we are going to convert this solid state of ice with the help of temperature. We need to convert into liquid state, that is water. So how will you convert this state of matter into another state of matter? By with the help of temperature, by applying increasing temperature, by heating this ice with the help of increasing temperature. So when we will increase the temperature, automatically by increasing temperature, kinetic energy of the particle also increases. By increasing temperature, kinetic energy also increases, isn't it? When we are going to increase the temperature, automatically what will increase means the kinetic energy also increases when increase in temperature. When increase in temperature, the kinetic energy also increases. So automatically the kinetic energy of particle when increases, yet this heat, when we are applying this heat, that's extra heat, this heat will give the movement of particle. How it is possible means, when we are applying heat, that heat will overcomes the force of attraction between the particles. You know very well, solid particles are very closely packed, isn't it? Solid particles are very closely packed. So like the solid particles are very closely packed. In this closely packed arrangement, what happens when we are applying large amount of heat? When we are applying large amount of heat, automatically that heat is supplied to this particle. That heat energy is taken by this particle, this ice particle takes this heat, and due to this extra heat, that force of attraction between the particles. See, between one particle to another particle, we have some force of attraction. You know very well already, solids have the force of attraction is very high, isn't it? So the force of attraction between the particles overcome due to heat. What happens? The force of attraction, that means force of attraction overcome due to heat. This is overcome due to heat. So force of attraction overcome due to heat. Because of when we are applying heat energy to this solid particle, that is ice, immediately the ice particle will absorb the heat energy. Because of the absorption of more heat energy, the kinetic energy of particle also increases. When the kinetic energy of particle increases, automatically the movement of particle also increases. So with the help of the movement of particle increases means, because of that movement of particle, the force of attraction, because of this we have between these particles we have a strong intermolecular force of attraction is there in solid particle. So with the help of this heat, this overcome the force of attraction is overcome due to heat. So the movement of particles will go freely. So because of this easiest movement of particles, this one state of matter is converted into another state of matter. So listen carefully here. Now we are going to discuss about change in states of matter. So in our previous class we have discussed about the three states of matter, that is physical states of matter: solids, liquids and gases. Okay, so if we will take one example, it is water. At room temperature, water is a liquid, you know very well. See, that water exists as a ice in the form of a solid, isn't it? So we are getting that ice in the form of solid and we are getting water vapor in the form of gases, isn't it? So in these three states we are taking this water, that is ice, water as well as water vapor. Now with the help of this we are going to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. Now you have to think what happens here, how one state of matter will convert into another state of matter. With the help of temperature first we are going to discuss. So how the temperature will overcome the force of attraction between the particles and will change one state of matter into another state of matter. First we are going to discuss. See here, we are taking ice in the form of solid, isn't it? We are taking ice in the form of solid. When we are applying heat in this ice, that ice particle slowly melts with the help of the heat. We know this very well. How it happens means, because of increasing heat energy, the kinetic energy of particle also increases. Automatically, because of increase in kinetic energy of the particle, the movement of particle increases. What happens by increasing this temperature? How the movement of particle takes place means, because of this rising in temperature, that temperature overcomes the force of attraction between the particles. Because in solids the force of attraction is strong. It is the force of attraction is so strong. So with the help of this heat, that solids overcome due to heat. That solids, the force of attraction is overcome due to heat. So like this, one state of matter will changes into another state of matter by using increase in temperature, as well as how the water, that is water we know very well, it is in the form of liquid. That water will convert it into water vapor. That water vapor is in gaseous state. So see here also one state of matter we need to convert into another state of matter by applying again heat. So how will you convert water into water vapor? Again we need to give continuous heat in this water, and that water will convert it to form water vapor. So water is in liquid state and the water vapor is in gaseous state. Now here one state of matter is converted into another state of matter due to heat. So by applying heat, but with the help of increasing temperature, now we can change one state of matter solid into liquid, as well as this liquid into gas. So what is the process involved in this process? What is the process involved here? What type of process is involved in this change in states of matter? Now we are going to discuss one by one. Listen carefully. Now we are going to discuss about what is the process we are using to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. Now we are going to discuss one by one. Listen carefully. Listen children. See. Okay, listen. See, now how do you convert that is ice solid into by heating. With the help of applying temperature, we will convert this ice into water, water we are taking in the form of liquid and water vapor we are taking in the form of gas, isn't it? So see here, this is first condition we have discussed. By increasing temperature we have converted into, that is we can convert one state of matter into another state of matter. At the same time, from water vapor into water. How will you convert water vapor into water means by cooling water vapor. By cooling water vapor, we can convert this water vapor into water, as well as again by cooling this water, we will convert water into ice. Here, now we are decreasing the temperature. Now here we are decreasing the temperature. In this above process, we are increasing temperature. Increase in temperature takes place. Increase in temperature takes place, and below this process, here decrease in temperature takes place. Decrease in temperature. So listen, by increasing temperature, one state of matter can change in the form of another state of matter. Here by decreasing temperature, one state of matter can change into another state of matter. So automatically by increasing temperature or decreasing temperature, as well as by increasing pressure, by applying pressure, also we can change one state of matter into another state of matter. About that we will discuss later. Okay, so generally two conditions we are applying for conversion of one state of matter into another state of matter. That is, first condition is temperature and second condition is pressure. Here we have discussed about increasing temperature, also we can convert one state of matter into another state of matter. Same like this, by with the help of decreasing temperature also we can convert one state of matter into another state of matter. Is it right? So like this we can change one state of matter into another state of matter with the help of increasing temperature or decreasing temperature. Isn't it? Now I will ask one question to you. See, we are converting ice into water. Do you know what is the melting point of ice? What is the melting point of ice? You know very well, in degree Celsius we can say this is 0 degree Celsius, and in Kelvin scale we can say this is, what is this? 273.16 Kelvin, and approximately we will use 273 Kelvin. So melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius or 273 Kelvin, isn't it? Okay. Here now I will ask one question to you. What is mean by melting point here? What is mean by melting point? How will you melt this ice? How will you melt this ice? When we are applying heat on this ice will melt slowly, isn't it? And then it is converted into water. My question is, what does mean by melting point? How will you define melting point? It is nothing. See, the temperature at which solid melts to become a liquid at atmospheric pressure. Listen carefully. How will you define what is melting point means? The temperature at which solid melts to become a liquid at atmospheric pressure is called melting point. So, see, how will you melt this ice with the help of by increasing temperature. So, when we are going to increase this temperature at 0 degree Celsius, or at 273 Kelvin, this ice will conversion of ice into water, the process is called melting. Otherwise, the name of this process is called fusion. We will call the name of process called melting, or we can call it as an fusion. So now I will ask one question to you. Listen children. See, if we are taking ice cubes in a beaker. Okay, if you are taking ice cubes in a beaker. Suppose I will take one beaker and I am taking some ice cubes. Some ice cubes. So listen carefully. Now, in this beaker I am taking some amount of ice cubes and we are applying heat. We are heating this beaker. What happens when we are applying heat? Slowly the ice cubes will melt, isn't it? And converted into liquid. At particular temperature, when it will reach its melting point. When this ice will reach its melting point at 0 degrees Celsius or at 273 Kelvin, please note the temperature. During that time, we will see there is no rise in temperature. There is no rise in temperature. Suppose if we will mark this temperature with the help of thermometer, by continuous apply of heat also, there is no change in temperature after the 0 degrees Celsius or at this 273 Kelvin. Then what happens? Where does that heat energy will go? What happens? We are heating continuously, but at this stage, at a particular stage, when it reaches its melting point, after this stage, at particular time, there is no rise in temperature. Only the thermometer will show the same temperature at particular time. What happens? Where does the temperature will go means, that temperature is used to overcome the force of attraction between the particles. Where does that heat energy go? That heat energy is used to, that heat energy is absorbed by the ice. Where does that heat go? That heat energy is absorbed by this ice. So that ice cubes will absorb the heat energy, and that heat energy is used to overcome the force of attraction between the ice particle. Where does that heat energy go? That heat energy is absorbed by the ice particle, and that heat is used to overcome the force of attraction between the ice particles. So, it overcomes the force of attraction between the ice particle. Then, that heat energy is used to change one state of matter into another state of matter. Listen carefully. Where does that heat energy go? At particular temperature, when we are melting that ice, at that melting point, at sometimes there is no change in temperature. If you will note the temperature, there is no change. Where does that heat energy will go means, what happens means, listen, that heat energy is used to overcome the force of attraction between the ice particle, as well as that heat energy is used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. So, this type of heat energy is called latent heat. What's the name of this heat? This type of heat energy is called latent heat. Do you know what's the meaning of latent? Do you know this word? What is mean by latent? See, I will tell you, that is latent heat means it is nothing. Hidden heat. What is mean by latent means it is hidden. What's the word of latent? What's the meaning of latent means? Latent means hidden. So why this heat energy is called hidden heat means, because that heat energy is not used, that is not used to increase the temperature. At a particular time, there is no increase in temperature takes place. Then where does that heat energy will go means, that heat energy is hidden inside the ice cube itself. That is why it is hidden means, that hidden heat is used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. That means it overcomes the force of attraction between the ice particle. So that heat is used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. So that heat is called latent heat. The word latent is nothing. The meaning is hidden. What does mean by latent? It is hidden. You know very well, you will play in your childhood, you will play hide and seek, isn't it? That where you will hide like that, you will hide somewhere. Same like this, here the heat energy is hidden inside the particle itself. Why the heat energy is hidden there means because inside the matter, that heat energy is used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. That means that heat energy is used to overcome the force of attraction between one state of matter into another state of matter. Okay, so we are using that hidden heat to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. See, this process generally we will call it as an latent heat. What's the name of that heat? It is nothing. Latent heat. What's the meaning of latent means? It is hidden. What is latent? It is hidden. Listen. Okay. See, latent means hidden. Now we are going to discuss about latent heat of fusion. So you know what does mean by fusion? That is solid state converted into liquid state in atmospheric pressure at its melting point. It's called fusion, isn't it? So at its melting point, that solid particle converted into liquid particle at atmospheric pressure. That process is called fusion. So already I have told you that melting point stage, that process, conversion of solid into liquid, that process is called fusion, isn't it? Now my question is, what does mean by latent heat of fusion? Just now we have discussed what is mean by latent heat of fusion is, that is energy required to change 1 kg of solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point. Listen carefully. What does mean by latent heat of fusion means? What is just now I have informed to you what does mean by latent. It is nothing. It is hidden. What does mean by latent? It is hidden. Why we are using the word hidden means because at particular temperature the supply of heat is not used to rise the temperature. Only it is used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. So that heat energy is hidden inside the particle. So that type of heat is called latent heat. So what does mean by latent heat of fusion means? That amount of energy required. What is that? Some amount of energy. Listen. Amount of energy required to change 1 kg of solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point is called latent heat of fusion. So listen carefully, they will ask in your examination also. So what does mean by latent heat of fusion means? During fusion process, fusion is nothing, the conversion of solid state into liquid state at its melting point. That process is called fusion. So what does mean by latent heat of fusion means? During fusion process at a particular temperature that heat energy is not used to rise the temperature. That heat energy is used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. That heat is called latent heat of fusion. Okay, so how will you define this latent heat of fusion means? That is amount of energy required to change 1 kg of solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point is called latent heat of fusion. Is it clear? So this is called latent heat of fusion. Suppose, how will you convert liquid into gas? Same we have discussed already. How will you convert water into water vapor? How will you convert water into water vapor? Suppose we need to convert water into water vapor. So water is in liquid state and water vapor is in gaseous state, isn't it? So here also we need to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. So how will you convert this water into water vapor? By rising temperature. You need to apply heat, isn't it? Okay. So here also we need to supply heat, that is temperature. So when we are taking water in a beaker and when we will apply heat, easily that water particles will convert it into gaseous particle at its boiling point. What's the boiling point of water? Melting point of water, ice we have discussed already. What is the boiling point of water? That is, boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. What is boiling point of water? 100 degrees Celsius, or you know this, 373 Kelvin in Kelvin scale. Isn't it? It is 100 degrees Celsius in Celsius scale, or in Kelvin scale it is 373 Kelvin. So this is the boiling point of water. Now my question is, what is mean by boiling point? What is mean by boiling point? Just now we have discussed about melting point. What is melting point? That is conversion of solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure, and which time it will start to melt is called melting point. We have discussed. Now my question is, what is mean by boiling point? Do you have any idea what is mean by boiling point? We will see now. Listen. Boiling point Listen. So, boiling point. Boiling point. See, the temperature at which liquid starts to boil at its atmospheric pressure. Listen, see what we have discussed in melting point, that is the temperature at which a solid melts to become a liquid at its atmospheric pressure is called, that is we have discussed, it is melting point. Here we have discussed about boiling point. What is boiling point? When the water will get starts to boil at 100 degrees Celsius or at 373 Kelvin, isn't it? See here, how will you define boiling point? Means the temperature at which the liquid starts to boil at its atmospheric pressure and it changes to, starts to boil and converted in the state, it is converted to what? Gaseous state. It is converted in the form of gaseous state. So gas. So the temperature at which the liquid starts to boil and it will convert it to gaseous state at its atmospheric pressure is called boiling point of the liquid. Is it right? So the temperature at which liquid starts to boil to convert gas at its atmospheric pressure is called boiling point of the liquid. So this is called boiling point, and the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius or 373 Kelvin. Now we are going to discuss about the latent heat of vaporization. See, now we have discussed water is converted into water vapor by heating, isn't it? evaporation. During this process, water is converted to form water vapor. This process is called evaporation. About this we will discuss later. Now, I will ask one question to you. See, same like in melting point, like this here, in boiling point also, when the water will reach its boiling point, that is 100 degrees Celsius or in Kelvin it is 373 Kelvin. At this temperature, this water also stops to rise its temperature. There is no rise in temperature after this level, because same like this, the heat energy is used to convert this one state of matter into another state of matter. You know very well, water it is in liquid form and water vapor it is in gaseous form, isn't it? So here also at this particular temperature, after this sometime there is no rise in temperature when we are applying continuous heat also. We will not stop heat, but after applying continuous heat also there is no rise in temperature. It will not rise the temperature level, but we are giving the continuous heat. Then where does that heat energy will go means in like this melting point, here also the heat energy is hidden. What is that? Hidden heat is called, we have discussed, it is latent heat. What's the name of that hidden heat? It is latent heat. So, where does that heat energy go means, here also that heat energy is used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. That is, liquid state is converted to from gaseous state. So, here in this process also, that temperature is used by this water. This water absorb the heat energy, and that heat energy is used to overcome the force of attraction between the water particles, and it will convert the water into water vapor. So, here also the heat energy is used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. Used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. So, this type of heat of vaporization. What is this? Latent heat of vaporization. So, what does mean by latent heat of vaporization? It's nothing. The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of liquid into gas, 1 kg of liquid into gas at atmospheric pressure at its what point? Boiling point. This is called latent heat of vaporization. Listen carefully, what is meant by latent heat of vaporization? That is the amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of liquid into gas at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point is called latent heat of vaporization. Same like this latent heat of that is fusion. Here also the heat energy is used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. Okay, so the heat energy, where does the heat energy will go means, the heat energy is used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. This heat energy is called latent heat of vaporization. See, evaporation and vaporization, that is vaporization and boiling, both are also different phenomenon. Both also we will apply heat, but about that we will discuss in next class. In this, boiling is bulk phenomenon, but evaporation is surface phenomenon. Boiling is bulk phenomenon. About that we will discuss in our next class. So now listen. So based on this, how will you convert one state of matter into another state of matter? By applying temperature. So we have discussed with the help of rising in temperature, we can convert a solid into liquid as well as liquid into gas with the help of rising temperature, isn't it? So how will you convert solid into liquid? By increasing temperature. By increasing temperature, we can convert solid into liquid, as well as by increasing temperature, we can convert that liquid into gas. Isn't it? Listen carefully, and in this process, this solid can convert into liquid by the process of fusion. Fusion. Here we have discussed about melting point. What we have discussed about melting point. So, while melting this ice, that ice is converted into water in this process. So, that process called melting point. And during this process, one state of matter, that is solid, converted into another state of matter, that is liquid. The name of this process is called fusion. Listen carefully. One state of matter, that is solid, is converted into another state of matter, that is liquid, by applying temperature, that is increasing temperature at its melting point. At its melting point. This process is called fusion. At same way, that once another state of matter, liquid, that is water, is converted to form gas in the form of water vapor. Gas in the form of water vapor by increasing temperature, by applying temperature, that is increasing temperature, we will convert that liquid water into water vapor. This process called vaporization or evaporation. What's the name of this process? It is vaporization or evaporation. Vaporization or evaporation, or we can take it into vaporization. And during this process also, we will convert this water into water vapor by increasing temperature. At this stage, we have discussed about the boiling point, isn't it? What we have discussed? Boiling point. What does mean by boiling point? That is conversion of liquid into gas. Conversion of liquid into gas at a particular temperature, at atmospheric pressure. We will convert one state of matter into another state of matter. This process called, we have discussed boiling point. That what's the boiling point of water means 100 degrees Celsius or what is that? 373 Kelvin. So this process is called vaporization or evaporation. What is vaporization or evaporation means? It is nothing. The conversion of liquid state into gaseous state by raising temperature. With the help of temperature, we will convert liquid state into gaseous state. So, conversion of liquid state into gaseous state by applying a particular amount of pressure at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point. Atmospheric pressure at its boiling point is called vaporization or evaporation. So, in this class we have discussed about, that is, change in state of matter. In the change in state of matter, today only we have discussed about, with the help of increase in temperature, we have converted into a solid state of matter into liquid state of matter. At the same time, liquid state of matter also we can convert into gaseous state of matter by increasing temperature. So, how will you convert? By increasing temperature, we have converted this with the help of by reaching its melting point as well as boiling point. What does mean by melting point? What we have discussed about melting point? The temperature at which the solid melts at atmospheric pressure is called melting point. And what is boiling point? The temperature at which liquid start to boils to become gas at atmospheric pressure is called boiling point. So, already as I said that evaporation and boiling is different phenomenon. About that we will discuss in our next class. Okay, listen. So, during this process, we have discussed about two processes. That is fusion. What is fusion? It is nothing. The conversion of solid state into liquid state at its melting point is called fusion. And what does mean by vaporization? The conversion of liquid into gas at its boiling is called evaporation or vaporization. Okay. And during this process, we have discussed about one new word, that is latent heat. What does mean energy is hidden here. Where does this heat energy is hidden here means that heat energy is during fusion process, the heat energy is absorbed by the ice, and that ice particles use that heat energy and it converts one state of matter into another state of matter. Where does that heat energy will go means that heat energy is used to convert one state of particle into another state of particle. That is, that heat energy is overcomes due to heat. That force of attraction. It overcomes the force of attraction due to heat. So same like this in vaporization process also the same happens. That is latent heat of vaporization. That heat energy is used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter, and in this process also the heat energy is absorbed by the water particles, and that heat energy overcomes the force of attraction between water particle and converts into water vapor. So the latent heat is nothing, it is hidden heat. Where does that heat energy will go means that heat energy is used to convert one state of matter into another state of matter. So how will you define latent heat of fusion and latent heat of vaporization means that is amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point is called latent heat of fusion. But what is latent heat of vaporization? Amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of liquid into gas at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point is called latent heat of vaporization. So keep this in your mind. In our next session, we are going to discuss about by decreasing temperature and increasing pressure, how will you convert one state of matter into another state of matter. So listen children, today we have discussed about change in states of matter. So what is change in state of matter? How will you change the states of one state of matter into another state of matter by increasing temperature we have discussed. So go through this, and if you have any doubt and just recall this once again, and we will discuss remaining in our next class. Okay children, thank you.